You gotta feel the truth.
My whole career has been about fighting for freedom, justice, and equality.
I'm Dr. Benjamin F. Chavis Jr.
And I invite you to join me on June 1st, 2021, as a guest of the Young Diamantaires, speaking the truth about my experiences with the natural diamond industry, as a co-founder of the Diamond Empowerment Fund, now known all over the world as Diamonds Do Good.
Hi, everybody. In the meantime, I'll introduce myself and Mike will do the same. So my name is Kiale Bokapule. I'm in South Africa. I'm a member of Young Diamantaires and also a board member of Diamonds Do Good. Over to Mike.
Hi, everyone. First of all, a very, very big welcome to Dr. Ben. Thank you very much to be here. By the Diamonds Do Good Foundation. We are very proud for this collaboration. Obviously, another big thank you for Rami to set up this wonderful group of young Diamantaires. I am Mike Asscher, the 6th generation of the Royal Asscher Diamond Company, and I'm very proud to have this conversation with Dr. Ben and Lebo as a young Diamantaires and the founder of Diamond Empowerment Fund, formerly known now as Diamonds Do Good.
Well, thank you so much. I'm glad to be with you. And this is a global discussion. We're going to discuss the truth about natural diamonds. And certainly, I'm honored to have this discussion. It was years ago that former President Nelson Mandela of the Republic of South Africa actually encouraged Russell Simmons and myself and others. We were visiting South Africa and Botswana. And he said, listen, the diamond industry doesn't get enough public relations, goodwill. We're doing such good work, but the media doesn't cover it. So he said, go back to the United States and start something that will give us a better chance, because President Mandela knew how integral a sustainable diamond industry was to keep our communities sustainable in Southern Africa in particular. So we went back and we started the Diamond Empowerment Fund, and now it's called Diamonds Do Good. So I'm Mike and Lebo, I'm very glad to have this discussion, and I'm glad to see so many young diamantaires from around the world who are also engaged in the industry.
Fantastic, Dr. Ben. That's a very interesting intro already. I think the first question I would like to ask Mike, and you can jump in here at any time, is in terms of your background, Dr. Ben. You were referred to as a civil rights leader. Would like to hear a bit more about that so that we can then link that in with your role in Diamonds Do Good and its founding and so on. So please indulge us a bit about just your background. Would love to hear about it.
Well, thank you. When people ask me where I'm from, I say, well, maybe 20 generations ago, I'm from Africa. But I was born in North Carolina in 1948. In the 1950s, early 1960s, I got involved in the civil rights movement at a very early age. At the age of 12, I was a member of the NAACP, which is the largest civil rights organization in America. And by the time I was 14, I was actually the youth coordinator for the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I was actually on Dr. King's staff, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. So I grew up in the freedom movement. I grew up in the civil rights movement. And then later on, I became the president and CEO of the NAACP. And I had the honor to invite Nelson Mandela to speak at the NAACP convention in 1993. This is the year before he was elected president of South Africa. He spoke in Indianapolis. I introduced him. We talked about forging a relationship between the ANC and the NAACP. My background, Lebo, is that I've done a lot of work for the liberation movements in Africa, neo-colonial movements. Worked in Angola and Namibia, Zambia, Botswana, South Africa, but mainly in Angola, and some work also in Zimbabwe. So, I'm not a stranger to Africa. And I was so pleased to have an opportunity to do an extensive tour of Southern Africa and Botswana. Went to the mines, went down in the mines, saw the work, saw all of the infrastructure that was being built, the hospitals, the schools, the roads, just things to empower communities in these diamond communities. And I thought at that time, you know, we need to get this word out. And so many people were reacting to, actually we went over there before the so-called Blood Diamond movie. And so when that movie came out, it gave a distorted view of the industry. So we wanted to make sure that the positive news of the diamond industry with President Mandela's encouragement would get out. And that's how the Diamond Empowerment Fund got started. And then we focused on education because we provided so many scholarships to African leaders, young people in undergraduate and graduate school. And now I'm pleased to tell you that over a decade, thousands of young people have been able to go to school as of scholarships of our support. But, you know, in terms of my background, to answer your question, well, I'm a freedom fighter and been fighting for freedom not only for Black people in America, but all communities of color in America, but also people of color throughout the world and all people. The thing that I love about the natural diamond industry is that it transcends geography. It's a global industry. And the extent to which the global industry helps to empower communities where natural diamonds come from, I'm all for it because part of liberation is empowerment. Part of liberation is getting people to not only buy certain products, but be involved in the chain of production. And that's what I'm excited about these young diamantaires.
That's a
Dr.
fantastic.
Ben, wonderful. And I think you touched upon the actual topic of today's conversation, the truth about natural diamonds.
Yes.
Going back to the founding of, first Diamond Empowerment Fund, now Diamonds Do Good. How do you see that the real truth of natural diamonds collectively empowers all different communities and specifically those in the mining countries?
Yes, I've also had an opportunity to visit India. So I've seen where diamonds come from in Africa and throughout the world, and they're polished and cut in India. And we've had times in China also. I'm so pleased to see the work that, say, Chow Fook is doing in China. Across the board, Mike, I think, and that's one of the reasons why we have Diamonds Do Good. We need to get this word out. But I'm going to say something about natural diamonds, because this is the part of the truth about natural diamonds is that they are natural. They are created over centuries in the core of the Earth's crust, in the Earth's ground. And I'm a little concerned that we live in an age, Mike, in 2021, where there's a dispute now about fake news versus real news, fake truth versus real truth. And I think people, particularly millennials and Generation Z, they want something that's authentic. And natural diamonds are authentic. And I'm not trying to throw artificial diamonds or inauthentic. I would just say, if your diamond is not natural, it is not having the value that it should have. And one of the things about natural diamonds, the communities where natural diamonds come from, I've seen firsthand how the industry helps empower those communities. I'm talking about grassroots communities. I'm talking about indigenous communities in Africa, in Asia, in South America, in Canada, done such great work, and of course also in the United States. So I want particularly young consumers to understand the value of natural diamonds. That's the truth of diamonds, not only where they come from, but how they're mined, and the impact, the positive impact it has on those communities. And I think sometimes the mainstream media focuses on sometimes the controversial elements. And I think we need a balanced perspective on how good work, good impact, and serves the good aspirations of people in these communities.
That's a very solid response, Dr. Ben. One of the things that are dear to young diamanteers particularly is that we don't like just talking about impact. We actually put our efforts behind our words. So one of the things that we did a few years ago, 2 years ago specifically, was a group of young diamanteers came to South Africa to visit a mine that is run by DBS in one of our provinces here. And what we did was we decided to adopt a project at a particular school called Renaissance, where we're now helping to build a kitchen. Now, what we want to know, Dr. Ben, in your view, is what else can young people in the diamond trade do to help ensure that the good that diamonds do is realized by the people at the source. So such as in the example of young diamanteers and how I'm making an example about what it is we're doing now. What else do you think is there that young people can do, particularly young diamanteers?
Thank you, Billy. That's a great question. And I would just, first of all, thank you and the other young diamanteers that started that project. Having a kitchen at a school is so important all over the world. In order to learn, you need to have proper nutrition. But to answer your question, I would say it's quality of life issues, quality of life opportunities to help improve the quality of life. In many communities, I've seen the industry help in the infrastructure, the roads, the housing, the electrification. You'd be surprised, Bully. There's still communities that still don't have adequate access to electricity or fresh water. And there's a whole now movement, particularly among young people, Generation Z and millennials, around climate change, around environmental issues, but also sustainability issues. And I think that young diamanteers and the industry as a whole, I think get involved in projects where we can concretely show that as a result of the diamonds do good, as a result of the diamond industry, as a result of the natural diamond industry, giving back to these communities where diamonds are extracted from, where diamonds are mined, that's the best example. So when people in the retail, when a young person goes, gets engaged or goes to buy a diamond and celebrate the worth of a natural diamond, it has meaning for that particular moment, for that particular couple or that particular family, but it also has a meaning from where the diamond emerged. And I think that's the good news of natural diamonds. And I think what the young diamanteers did, Pule, in the example that you cited, is an example that needs to be replicated all throughout the world.
Yeah, that's thank you very much, Dr. Ben. And it does give me the question of, we are here amongst so many young diamantaires and have a wonderful discussion with one of the most important charity foundations, I believe, in our industry, Invisibility. But how do we get that message that we all envision that is so important from the projects like the Renaissance School and other projects that Diamonds Do Good do? How do we get that message best across to the consumer?
Thank you. That's another important question, Mike. I think we have to use various forms of media distribution, various forms of what I would say. We have good content. The question is, how do we distribute the content about the truth of natural diamonds? We definitely have to utilize social media. We definitely have to utilize other platforms. I work now for the Black Press of America. And certainly, every time I see something about Diamonds Do Good, I make sure that our newspapers, our social media channels covered. Similarly, I think there's a global impact of how we distribute content about the truth of natural diamonds, about the impact, the positive, uplifting, sustainable impact of the diamond industry in these diamond communities. I think that we have to give testimonies, Mike, from people who live in these communities. And then we help elevate those testimonies as an example of how diamonds continue to do good in these communities, not just for one purchase. To me, when consumer purchase a diamond product, that has enduring benefit over a lifetime. They say diamonds are forever, and they are forever. Natural diamonds are forever. But I'm trying to emphasize that the impact of natural diamonds also lasts for generation from generation to generation. I was so pleased to see Lipo and others in South Africa, where now you have communities of color actually getting into on the retail end as well as the production end of the Diamantaires. I think that's very important. As you know, Mike, I've known you, I know your family. Your family represents different generations, and I see an expansion of how people can get involved. And I think there are a lot of career opportunities, Mike. Lastly, I would like to point out in the natural diamond industry that people need to know more about. We need to make sure we celebrate diversity, equity, and inclusion in the natural diamond industry.
I like that response, particularly towards the end, Dr. Ben, where you speak about inclusion, inclusivity. This is one of, I think that's one of the key pillars of Nelson Mandela's legacy. What I'd like to know is, how was that conversation? I mean, in South Africa, we celebrate him as the father of our democracy. How was that conversation with him when he insisted, perhaps, that go out there and start Diamonds Do Good and pass on the positive message? I'm just keen to hear what he said.
But thank you. There's a backstory. Let me give you the backstory. Nelson Mandela was held unjustly in prison for 27 years in South Africa under apartheid regime. I spent most of the 1970s in the United States in prison as also a political prisoner. So you can imagine how it was when we both got out of jail, got out of prison, and having a chance to work together and to talk about the future of South Africa, post-apartheid South Africa, the future of Southern Africa, the future of the world, as we challenge systemic racism there, but also, just to make it contemporary, look what's going on now in America with the Black Lives Matter movement. It's spread. So we have still these lingering issues, but we're making progress. That's the important thing. So that's the backstory. So by the time we had that tour in South Africa, which was sponsored by De Beers, incidentally, I had an opportunity to go to the home of Nelson Mandela. In this instance, it was in Maputo, Mozambique, because he was married at that time to Graça Machel. And she welcomed us in her home, and we sat there on the couch having a one-on-one discussion of Russell Simmons and I with the Honorable Nelson Mandela and Graça Machel. And it was, he was very keen on the future. He wanted people to know how Mr. Oppenheimer and the Diamonds actually played a role in dismantling apartheid. People don't know that, and he brought that out. And he says, look, I need you to go back, Ben. I need you to go back, Russell Translation, and start something that will help put the word out. And certainly with his encouragement, we said, yes, sir. Well, we're definitely going to go back and do it. And he was so pleased to hear our announcement of the formation of the Diamond Empowerment Fund, which is now named Diamonds Do Good. And we've done such great work. And of course, one of our first beneficiaries of Diamonds Do Good were schools in South Africa, colleges, as well as schools, projects in Botswana and neighboring countries. And particularly several years ago, we actually made a major contribution to the Graça Machel Trust, which is probably one of the leading nonprofits in all of Africa to help empower women, not only in diamond communities, but in all communities. We're so pleased with the work of the Graça Machel Trust. And of course, every time I see former First Lady Graça Machel, former First Lady of both South Africa, former First Lady of Mozambique, the only woman in history to have that distinction, I remind her of that discussion we had in her living room when Nelson Mandela encouraged us to go back to the United States and start Diamonds Do Good.
Nice. And if you think about Diamonds Do Good, what is the greatest achievement from Diamonds Do Good's perspective?
I think the greatest achievement, there's been so many achievements. I'll try to pinpoint what I think is the greatest achievement, Mike, is that we have an industry, the natural diamond industry, that has been responsive. I think that's the greatest. you know, a lot of times people have perceptions about industries, but they really don't know. And when you talk about the industry, you use the word industry, you think it's just something inorganic. But the industry is made up of people, people who have a heart, people who have a spirit, people who have a legacy, people who have a tradition, people who care about other people. And I think one of the greatest things I personally have seen through the work of Diamonds Do Good is to see industry leaders who really care about these communities where diamonds come from. That is so important because we show how we care, not only about how we give back to those communities, but how we engage those communities, like to become self-empowered. So, you know, it's the pendulum swings first with charity toward empowerment, where you get people on the road to their own self-productivity, self-empowerment. And that's where sustainability comes in. And so we've actually seen communities literally transformed in a very positive way, where healthcare becomes not only accessible, but affordable, where education not only becomes affordable, but accessible. Quality of life is overall improved. That is the greatest achievement of the Diamonds Do Good.
That's fantastic. I know you Diamonds Do Good does a lot of work in Botswana in partnership with De Beers there as well. I mean, I remember there was a time Botswana was one of the countries in the world that had the highest rate of HIV infection. But today, as a result of the mining of diamonds and the proceeds from there, people's lives are being changed. Dr. Ben, do you want to speak a bit about your work in Botswana?
Yeah, I'm very pleased that the government of Botswana, the families in Botswana, the industry in Botswana, including De Beers, you know, De Beers moved his whole national headquarters from London to Botswana. You know, people don't realize that De Beers is an African-based global company now, based in Gaborone, Botswana. So yes, because of the impact of the natural diamond industry in Botswana, they've been able to not only respond to the challenge of HIV, but the quality of life has improved in Botswana. If you go to that capital city or even to the rural areas, you see people's quality of life has been significantly improved, directly result of the diamond industry. And people say, well, it's one of the world's largest producers of diamonds. That's true. But what people don't understand, because it's one of the world's largest producers of diamonds, they also have translated that wealth that's been generated by the diamond indigenous wealth that has been generated back to improving healthcare, back to improving education. Man, I went to the University of Botswana, gave a little lecture there. It has one of the largest libraries in all of Africa. You know, investing in education, investing in higher education, and to see the hunger and thirst of the young people of Botswana, as well as in South Africa or in Angola or Namibia or Zambia and all the frontline states, as they once were referred to see these aspirations being met by the opportunities that's been provided by the natural diamond industry is very encouraging. So yes, when things come like HIV, and now even with the pandemic, with the COVID-19 pandemic, now we see that a lot of these communities are being able to get not only tested, but get the vaccinations because of the strength and the help of the diamond industry in these countries. So overall, there's been a net positive impact across the board in all of these countries in Southern Africa, including Botswana and South Africa.
And what do you think that in all of the achievements that we've done together impacted on all communities, what are we missing? What is our biggest challenge yet to come?
Well, I think what we're missing, Mike, is an underestimation of the readiness of the rest of the world to hear the good news of the natural diamond industry. I think sometimes we preach to the choir. In other words, we speak and preach to ourselves. We need to open up and get the good news of the Diamonds Do Good to the rest of the world. There are millions of potential consumers out there that need to know the good of the diamond industry. So I think that's what's missing. We need not just a program, not just a project. We need a consistent methodology of disseminating the positive information about the natural diamond industry, and also making a distinction between natural diamonds and unnatural diamonds. I'm sorry, I got to say that, because to me, the transformation that we are seeing in these communities all over the world comes from natural diamonds. It does not come from unnatural diamonds.
I think to your point, Dr. Ben, there's a great opportunity in front of us. I mean, particularly as young people in the diamond trade, to go out there and pass on the message about the good work that diamonds are doing in communities where they're mined and everywhere else. In fact, I mean, consider countries like India that employ hundreds and thousands of people in the diamond cutting and polishing space. One of the things I wanted to ask you was, as diamonds do good, how can you help in enabling young people to participate in the structures within the diamond industry as a whole, to begin passing this message across? Because young people, in my view, particularly in dealing with young diamanteers, we're very passionate about the message, but without having a voice or a place in platforms such as Diamonds Do Good, how do we become more open to the participation of young people in the trade?
Again, man, you're asking all the right questions at the right time. Certainly, fully remember how we promoted just this program today. We use the cultural aspect. I think in our music, in our poetry, in our culture exhibitions, we need to incorporate more about Diamonds Do Good. I think we can reach a lot of millennials, a lot of Generation Z. It's not only what we say, but it's how we say it. It's not only what we distribute, but it's how we distribute these truths about the natural diamond industry. So I would say, we need to get our cultural artists, some of the cultural icons in Africa, some of the cultural icons in India. India has a great cultural tradition in music and flavor of how people express themselves, the dance even. I think we need to incorporate that in how we uplift and distribute and tell the good stories of Diamonds Do Good, culturally speaking. I'm so much in favor, because I've seen the impact that Generation Z and young people and millennials, they tend to want to make sure that the information is really focused in language and in cultural art forms that are not only perceptible in their perspectives, but that they can embrace, they can put their arms around. And of course, we live in a digital media age now. So we want to make sure our social media channels have those positive stories, those positive testimonies, but also have that cultural background. I just found we got such great response. I want to thank you for the videotape that your team put together in promoting even this program. It's like trending right now around the world because of the way it was put together. So I think we should utilize those formats and those messaging platforms with the cultural artists interface that will help make the message be received much more effectively and efficiently.
Looking at from a standpoint of Diamonds Do Good, and we've touched on it on the way that was spoken about social media and all other new digital age access. But still, if we look at the message from Diamonds Do Good and we want to get that message to the consumer, how we as young Diamantaires and Diamonds Do Good as a charity foundation collectively can get that story over? What is the phase that we need to get into? Who can we attract to get that message out there? Do we attract the retail? And how do we do that? And from what perspective do we get that visibility for Diamonds Do Good as a charity foundation?
Yes, well, again, the Diamonds Do Good as a charity foundation, I think that the messaging should be intergenerational. I think the messaging should be multicultural. I think the messaging should be multilingual. I think the messaging also should be particular, Mike, but also universal. The universal message of the natural diamond industry, the universal message of the value itself of a natural diamond. That should never be played down. That should be lifted up. The value proposition of when diamonds are retail, when diamonds are consumed by consumers, or the use of it. I still have always a smile when I think about the theme that diamonds are forever, and how that one theme has transcended race, has transcended geography, has transcended national boundaries, because people want to not only have something with longevity, but people want to have something that has great value. Now today with Young Diamantaires, Mike, to more specifically answer your question, I think that the social justice consciousness, we live in a world today that is much more social justice conscious. And I think that the natural diamond industry and Diamonds Do Good, we need to always be forthright in our advocation of social justice, because I think that that will also connect a lot of young people who are trying to make decisions about purchasing decisions that they make in their life. What is of value? What has longevity? And I think the social consciousness, the social justice consciousness is so important, so it's vital to know that the natural diamond industry stands on the side of history where people are moving to improve their quality of life, where people are, and we must, I would say it this way, Mike, we must be able to hear and respond to the cries of people for freedom, justice, and equality. If we do that, then people will have the perception that this particular industry is supportive of the universal call for equality and social justice.
I think I saw there was a few questions submitted about synthetic diamonds. All we need to do is just take a clip of what you just said now, play that over and over again. There's the response to what the role of natural diamonds is. But it would be unfair of me to not ask this question, Dr. Ben, about synthetic diamonds. I know you've touched on them, but the role of Diamonds Do Good in relation to synthetic diamonds. There's been talk about how they are more green than what natural diamonds are. There's been claims of human rights violations around the mining of natural diamonds. But in your experience, you've traveled the continent of Africa specifically, have experienced this firsthand. I just want you to just give us a summation of what you think the place of synthetic diamonds is in relation to the natural diamond industry.
Well, the place of synthetic diamonds is that they're not natural. And what I'm trying to emphasize, and what Diamonds Do Good is emphasizing, is the role, the sustainable role. If you believe in doing something that's green, something that's environmentally safe, then you want to get that which is natural. There's nothing more greener than that which is natural. There's nothing more greener than that which comes from the earth, not that which comes from chemicals in a laboratory. So again, I have a background in chemistry, so I'm not knocking chemists, and I'm not knocking the work that people do in labs. That's fine. There may be a market for that, but the greatest market is for natural diamonds. The greatest value is for natural diamonds. The greatest impact in terms of improving the quality of life for people comes from purchase of natural diamonds. And that's why this program about telling the truth about natural diamonds. Sometimes I think the industry has been a little reserved. We don't want to lift our mission up for fear of some negative reaction. But I think we should be more proactive. I think we should be more forthright. Just state the truth. That in my view, there's no comparison between a synthetic diamond versus a natural diamond. Natural diamonds will always win out. One, because they're natural. Two, because they're environmentally sound. And three, because they have tremendous impact on improving the quality of life of where these diamonds come from.
So, is there a way to challenge that topic and say, well, you know, we all believe that the natural diamond industry is the only industry that can give back to the community of the diamond industry itself. However, you know, if we talk about inclusivity, is there a way that we can have the synthetic diamond industry also positively impact our mining countries and our communities? And if so, how would you envision that in a collaboration of Young Diamantaires, Diamonds Do Good, and other parties, we can empower others also to contribute to our communities?
Well, I think all industries should learn from the natural diamond industry. I think those who are involved in synthetics should learn from the natural diamond industry. You know, they should give back also. I think the World Gold Council can learn from the natural diamond industry, should give back. You know, I think all of those that engage in precious stones, precious gems, precious metals, I think we all have to, at the end of the day, ask ourselves, are we giving back? Are we helping improve the quality of life of all of humanity? Are we making our world a better place? Those are the essential questions. So this is not about rivalry between one industry versus another industry.
Yeah.
It's about identifying those strategies, those infrastructures, those companies that's sort of dynamic. And so I see the natural diamond industry as being something organic. Now, you're saying, can those that are involved in inorganic play a role? Absolutely, they should play a role. But I would take my lead from the natural diamond industry first.
Absolutely. I think in conclusion, I don't know how much time we have. I just want to say this, Dr. Ben. I mean, being from the source myself in South Africa, being a young Black African, I'm a beneficiary of the sort of work that people like yourself have done. You know, the fact that Nelson Mandela encouraged you guys to start Diamonds Do Good, and also agitating for countries where diamonds are mined to act responsibly. What that ends up resulting in is lives change and people are given opportunities. And you know, I'm one such example. And there are many other people in South Africa and many parts of the continent who can benefit from more work being done. So, you know, kudos to Diamonds Do Good. And I think Young Diamantaires would love to play a more active role, and we're continuously looking for opportunities to become more and more involved in ensuring that natural diamonds come first in this education around it, particularly when it comes to the consumers. So, you know, in closing, that's my bit. You know, thank you, and thank you for the efforts of all those that you've been working with and all those that continue to contribute to this work. Much appreciated.
Well, thank you. And I encourage everybody to go to diamondsdogood.com. Please go to our website. Please learn how you can get involved with the Young Diamantaires. Mike Asscher, Pulley, thank you so much for giving me an opportunity just to have this discussion. And I was glad to see so many Young Diamantaires sign up for this global call. I know this is the first of a kind conversation. We need to continue this discussion, but we will end it in this session. But I'm more than willing to come back to continue the discussion because I think it's an evolving global discussion. I tend to see, I'm an optimist, I'm not a pessimist. I think there are brighter days coming as the world emerges out of this devastating COVID-19 pandemic. I think there are brighter days coming for the natural diamond industry as we reassert the value and the value proposition of the natural diamond industry. I just think there's so much opportunities out there today like never before. And it's our role, it's our responsibility to not only rise to this occasion of the opportunities, but to make sure that, again, we celebrate our diversity. We celebrate our inclusion, and we celebrate our commitment to equity and to equality.
Mike?
Well, thank you very much. Well, I don't know how much time you have, but I had a few messages coming over that there were a few people who were very eager to also ask you a few questions. So if you have time, then I would love to invite, first of all, one of our fellow young Diamantaires, David Troostwyk, to participate in a few questions that we have for you, because I know that our group is very eager to ask you some interesting questions. David, are you there?
Yeah, hi. Thank you so much
Okay.
for taking my question, and thank you so much for the discussion, which has been really informative and excellent. My question to you, Dr. Ben, is just just taking it back a step to when you started Diamonds Do Good, or the Diamond Empowerment Fund. I'm wondering, since then, what would you say has been the greatest achievement? What have you really been able to tangibly see and make a difference to?
Thank you. I think the greatest achievement is changing the narrative. I think before we started the Diamond Empowerment Fund and Diamonds Do Good, the opponents of the industry had the upper ground and almost exclusively a negative narrative. And I thought that was so not right. And so one of the greatest achievements is now we're having very positive, very proactive, not just reactive, but very proactive discussions about the positive impact, sustainable impact of the natural diamond industry in the world. And I think that's very important. Another success of Diamonds Do Good is that we're involving more and more young people in the industry. When I attend the various conferences and trade shows, I'm seeing many more young people not only get involved in the industry out of their interest, but also become entrepreneurs in the industry, as well as consumers in the industry. So to me, that is very gratifying. So in other words, I'm seeing a gradual transformation of the industry itself, where it certainly holds on to valuable traditions from the past, but also now expanding. And as we become more diverse and become more inclusive, we're beginning to market the natural diamond industry in a much more inclusive way. I'll put it that way. If you look at all of the commercials on television or on the internet, they're much more inclusive now. And that, to me, that bodes well for the future, because I think we see that all of humanity has an opportunity to be uplifted by the natural diamond industry. And I think that bodes well for the future of the industry.
All right, that's a very insightful answer. Thank you very much. I believe we have a few more. The first one is our Indian young diamantaire and probably famous young diamantaire from India, Prerna. Prerna, can we get you into the conversation?
She probably has to unmute.
Are you there?
While Prerna unmutes herself, I know Rami is dying to ask a question. And Rami is such a key figure in Young Diamantaires. He keeps us organized. So Rami, over to you. Prerna will ask her question once you're done.
Dr. Ben, I'd like to thank you very much for your incredible insight, and you bring such a wealth of knowledge and information to us, and a perspective that we haven't heard before. So I you're so gracious with your time, and I greatly appreciate your contribution. My question to you is a little bit left field. And my question to you is, when you look back at the history of your organization and your own political experience, what are some of the things, maybe just one or two things that you can suggest to us as a young organization? Because although I'm the founder of the Young Diamantaires, this is the Young Diamantaires, and they're looking to grow. What are some of the suggestions that you can share with them from your success and or failures to help grow this organization? And you know, this is where we learn from past experience.
Yes. Thank you. That's an excellent question. And I'm going to give you a very succinct answer. We all should learn from history, not necessarily repeat history. And the extent to which we can learn from history, we can extract those positive learnings. So we build a foundation. So to me, the young Diamantaires should learn from the old Diamantaires. But in learning from the old Diamantaires, the young Diamantaires should also be open that the next generation can learn from what you do in this time and in this place, in these places around the world. I see an evolution of the natural diamond industry that is inclusive, no matter what one's age may be. I think we have to learn from one another. And the thing that I've learned, at least from a Diamonds Do Good perspective, is that when you help somebody in Africa, when you help somebody in India, you're not only helping, or in China, you're also helping yourself. You're also helping your own company, because it increases our, not just sensitivity, but in order to have successful business place in the market, I tell business leaders all the time, doing good is good for business. Doing good is good for business. And the extent to which we could learn that early on is the extent to which our businesses will continue to thrive.
Thank you.
That's fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Prerna, is Prerna able to ask a question? Are you?
Yes, I can join in.
Hi, how
Hi,
are
Dr.
you?
Ben. I'm good, thank
Great.
you. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you for participating.
Thank you, my pleasure. I would like to ask you, in your opinion, what's the strength of Diamonds Do Good and why should one become a part of it?
Thank you. In my opinion, the strength of Diamonds Do Good is that it's global. It's not paternalistic or to one place on the globe versus another place. And I think I can just share a story. When I first went to India, spent a lot of time in Mumbai. I was so impressed. You know, India is a place where there's a lot of wealth, but there's also a lot of poverty. But what I saw in the natural diamonds were people who were gaining their own sense of self-worth and contribution, but this notion about giving back, opening the door for those who are less fortunate. I think that is just so important. And one of the things that we've learned from this current pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic, is just that if we have a global pandemic, we got to have a global solution. It can't just be one country getting the solution just for themselves and not sharing that solution with others. I see the natural diamond industry and Diamonds Do Good similarly, that we've learned some things from the past that we need to apply to make our future, the future of the world better. I just celebrate our diversity. I celebrate our thriving to be more inclusive. And I celebrate that we're giving voice sometimes to the voiceless. We're giving hope sometimes to the hopeless. But we set an example, not only by the exquisite nature of the products that are produced with natural diamonds, because they are exquisite, but they're a shining example of what can be done, not just a symbol of that which is exquisite and nice and beautiful and shiny and something to be adored. But I feel that the ring that I have on my hand, or the ring that I may give somebody, a diamond I may give somebody, yes, it's a gift, but it's a gift that has meaning. Because in the purchase of a natural diamond, you're giving hope and life to others who need their lives improved, their quality of life uplifted. So to me, I'm giving you a sort of a circular answer to your question. I think that diamonds do good represents the good that we not only intend to do, but it represents the good that we are doing in the present to make a better future for those in the future.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ben.
Thank you for your question.
All right. I have, one more question coming from one of our very own. Lebo, I think you have one of the most important questions to end this beautiful conversation.
You signed the invoice, you didn't get the papers back.
Alas, mute yourself, please. Thank you.
I thought Alan wanted to ask something. So, Dr. Ben, with the lockdown, spending time at home, getting very personal with our refrigerators, it wouldn't be in the style of Young Diamantaires if I don't ask you this question. So what's your favorite snack? I mean, what have you been eating more than anything else during the lockdown period?
Well, obviously, because I'm an advocate of the natural diamond industry, my favorite snack has to be something natural. Not something synthetic, not something artificial, not something that does not come from the earth. So my favorite snack is avocado and mangoes.
There you heard it, guys. It's more than just about diamonds. It's also about healthy living. Okay.
And it's about natural.
That's
right. Dr. Ben.
Consistent, organic,
Thank you so much, Dr. Ben.
Organic over there, organic over here, organic everywhere.
Organic everywhere.
That sounds like a rap song. We need to probably get a little hip hop song on it.
We're going to use that for the next YD-DDG collaboration. Thank you so much, Dr. Ben. This was such an insightful conversation. We are very, very proud to have you here. And I want to thank you very much by all of the Young Diamantaires. And I know that.
Well, Mike, best wishes to you, your sister, and to your family, and your father, just the whole family. And let me just say to the whole Diamonds Do Good, we're all family.
Yep.
And people, I'm so glad that you're on the board of directors, because people, you got to do also, you got to raise your voice on that board and make sure that we're pushing forward. We need more inclusive, more diversity, and just celebrate it, because I see a turning point. And I think we are ascending in the right direction. So Mike and Lepo, thank you for an opportunity, for giving an OG like me an opportunity to confer.
A real OG. Thank you so much, Dr. Ben. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. All right. See you all soon. Next time.
Bye.
God bless.
Goodbye.